Welcome to PROCESIO no-code platform. I am Alina and today I will show you how to create an order confirmation process. Our process will have two steps, sending an email with an invoice and sending a confirmation SMS. To do this, I'll need to set up a configuration to an email server that will be used to send the email, and another configuration to the SMS REST API service. This means I'll need to create two connection configurations in the credential manager. For the purpose of this demo, I have already set up two credential configurations, one for the email server that I'll use in my send email action, and one to my SMS REST API service that I'll use in my call API action. Therefore, I can proceed straight to the process designer, which is where we can see all processes and create new ones. I'll click the Create New button. I'll change the process name. I'll say Demo Order Confirmation Process. I'll add the send email action to the canvas and the call API action. I will connect them together. To be able to configure my actions, I'll need to use some dynamic data such as customer name, email, phone number, and so on. The way to do this is by creating process variables from this menu over here. I'll go on to create some process variables that I anticipate I'll need in my process. And that is customer name, which is a string, and it is an input. This means I will need this as an input to the process so that the actions run correctly. Customer email, also a string data type and an input. Customer phone number, the product ordered, the order ID, the total amount of the invoice, which will be a double. I will of course need to have an invoice attached to my email, which will have the data type file. And let's also use an output variable for capturing the SMS status. It will be easier for debugging purposes. It can also be a string, and I'll set it as output. At this point, I believe I have everything I need as input data for my process. I'll configure my send email action. Let me rename it to email order confirmed. I'll select my email server connections, which I previously configured in the credential manager section. And now I can configure the parameters of the actions. The from field will set the display name of the sender. The actual email address of the sender is the one set in the credential manager, but we can set here the display name to be anything we want. In this case, I'll use Alina from PROCESIO. We will send this email to the customer email address. For the subject, we can have something a little bit more dynamic. Let's say customer name, comma, your order has been confirmed. And I have an email template which I'll copy paste from here, and I'll replace the ... with variables. For this I will use the insert key. It will show up, it will make the process variable selector be displayed. So dear customer name, your order ID is now confirmed. You have successfully purchased a product ordered. And I believe this is good enough. And I will map an attachment, and that will be the invoice. I will save this. And now I can go on to configure my call API action, which will actually send an SMS via a REST API. So for this, I will select my REST API configuration. I have found on the internet an SMS provider that has a REST API I can connect to. And I have read their documentation a bit to be able to configure this action. I know it uses a post verb. You can see here that the URL is already pre-filled. It's because it gets it from the credential manager. And I'll need to specify the method name, which I have saved here. Okay. And I know from their documentation that I need to set some query parameters. The to, which will be the phone number. The body, which will be the SMS text. Dear customer, your order with the order ID has been confirmed. Thank you for your purchase. And I will also configure the sender parameter. Not exactly sure what this does, but I know from the documentation that I'll need it. And let me also map the status output to my variable SMS status output. And I believe this configuration is already done. I'll save it. I'll save the entire process and I'll validate it. I have no validation errors, so I can directly run it to see if it's working. And as you can see here, you have all the variable input that you have declared on the process level. I'll need to fill it in so that the process can run successfully. customer name Jane Doe, customer email jane.doe@procesio.com, customer phone number, I have a phone number here, product ordered will be PROCESIO premium license, order ID, and the total amount of invoice. Well, since it's a premium license, I'll put it to 0.0, and I'll attach a file to be the invoice for this process. Now I can hit run, and you see here some feedback saying that the process has been running and you can check its execution. I'll hit check instance, and everything went well apparently. I can see my input variable, I can see the output status for my SMS output, and I can also see that all my actions have run successfully. That is it for the demo today. Thank you for watching.